in America. A guy from anywhere. Go to sleep a pauper and wake up a millionaire. Only in America can a kid without a cent get a break and maybe grow up to be president. Only in America, land of opportunity, yeah. Would a classy girl like you fall for a poor boy like me? Only in America, and a kid who's washing cars take a giant step and reach right up and
I grew up a Democrat, and I've always been a Democrat until I met this man right here. I'll tell you what. He will not have to worry about nobody in my family ever voting for a Democrat again. Okay.
Don't you just love that guy? Don't you just love that guy? I tell you, it has been a very exciting day. You guys, not one person left here. You're still here yelling and screaming. So my word is, Wildwood, are you in the house? I can't hear you. Wildwood, are you in the house? Thank you guys for all your support. And how about a great shout out for Metro Exhibit, baby? We made it all happen, all because of you. Thank you.
And good evening, America. Bill Cochran. This is the Only in America show. And 100,000 plus. 100,000 plus MAGA, Trump supporters, whatever you want to call them. Got an introduction, Lawrence Taylor, the New York Giants legend, and Otis Anderson, hyped up the crowd, and they said, who are you going to vote for? Our families aren't going to vote Democrat anymore. Is anybody out there listening to me right now on this show, live in Tampa Bay, Florida, going to vote for Joe Biden? Probably a lot of you are. And I'm going to try to convince you not to, like Donald Trump is trying to do right now as he is running for re-election for the president of the United States. Does anybody out there that may be voting for Donald, does anybody out there that may be voting for Donald Trump think that he's going through some kind of persecution because of Joe Biden, because of the DOJ, because of the FBI and the CIA and a whole bunch of them going against him, because Joe Biden is afraid to run against Donald Trump? Those 100,000 the other day that were there on the beach, the boardwalk in Wildwood, one of the most famous beaches in the world, loaded with 100,000 people in a state that is normally Democrats, Democratic state normally. And Donald Trump told them how it is. I'm not sure what caused 100,000 people to come to the beach the other day in Wildwood, New Jersey, but I'm sure that they got a great show. They sat there and they listened to a man that loves America more than most politicians have ever loved America. A man that's only a politician because he has to be able to run for the office of president. He won in 2016, won big. Well, actually, it was a little closer than we thought. Hillary thought she was going to win big, but Hillary got a surprise on election day when Donald Trump took over the presidency of the United States. 2020, I can remember going to sleep that night at 11 after Fox News turned off the results. I can remember Fox News calling it for Arizona for Biden when Trump was winning so big. All of a sudden, there was a blackout on television, on Fox News. One of the shows that I really, really used to like, not anymore. They turned on Trump. They turned on Trump after January 6th. They tried to destroy the man. Not just Fox News, but many of the cable networks. CNN is out to destroy Donald Trump. But who's winning? The other day when Donald Trump gave that great message in Wildwood. You won't read about it in the New York Times the next day or the USA Today, or even the New York Post doesn't talk much about the rally that nobody thought would have ever happened on a beach on a Saturday in Wildwood. That's a lot of people. Lot of people. And if you want to vote for Joe Biden, I'd like you to give me a call, 727-441-3000, 727-441-3000, and let me know why. Let me know why you would like to vote for a man that has a southern border open with thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are coming into this country illegally. Why would you want to vote for a man like that? Why would you want to vote for a man that is wants to support a war over in Ukraine, fighting Russia, instead of trying to come about with a peace treaty? Just send millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars over there to support a war. A man that turned on Israel this week, as he says he's not going to give them any more munitions this week, at least, as he continues to turn to the people that hate Israel, turn to their message. College campuses are burning. College campuses are closing down for the summer. The colleges are out of control, which is something that you can't totally blame Biden for that, but at least Donald Trump has a plan. One of the plans is to shut the border down, shut it down, have a deportation, deport many of the people that came into the country illegally. What's wrong with that? Biden will never do that. If Biden wins in November, the border will stay open, probably indefinitely. There won't be a country left because there'll be so many people here. And who's going to pay for these people? Are they going to work? Like Jerry Nadler said, are they going to be picking strawberries or planting vegetables? Like the congressman from New York's bright idea said, we need the immigrants. And we do. There's no question about it, needing people to come in from other countries. But you can't come in unchecked, and you can't be sent all over the country where nobody even knows where you're going. When the average person has to use his driver's license just to get into a football game to vote. They don't want to have voting where you need to show identity. We got some clips lined up tonight, and I'm going to have Ed maybe can play one now, Ed, if you could, and we'll listen to it. Go ahead. Got some good clips tonight.
Great guy, Lee Zeldin.
There you go.
A lot of speculation right now, Mr. President, about who your VP might be. Now, if you want to tell us who it is now, we're not going to stop you. But if you just maybe want to give us a top three,
Well, I won't do three, but I will say we have a lot of good people. And, Lee will definitely be somewhere in here in terms of the administration. He's great. He's a great lawyer, too. He's actually he was fantastic on the impeachment hoax when he was a congressman. And he'll be coming with me in some form anyway at a high level.
But Tim Scott in play, J.D. Vance in play. These are all names, names that are being talked about?
Sort of like a lot of people are in play, and I'm really a believer that you do it during the convention. You really do it during the convention. I'm also, unfortunately, a believer that historically VPs, I don't think ever have helped. I think they can hurt a little bit, but they haven't helped. It's you have one exciting day and then you're back to the president is running, but you need somebody that can be good just in case. That horrible just in case. Look, that's a big situation. You have to go with it, but just in case, and you need somebody that can ideally help you get the votes. But I will say the single most important ingredient is, will that person be a great president? That's a very important thing.
And that's Donald Trump. J.D. Vance, the senator from Ohio, a big supporter of Trump. Tim Scott, another big supporter of Trump from South Carolina. Maybe Governor DeSantis could be, he's backing Trump now, ran against him for the nomination, but you got to give him credit. The man loves the country, especially loves Florida. People in Florida love Governor DeSantis. So maybe he'll be one of the picks. Not sure. I think it probably will be a man. That's my feeling. But a lot of people think it might be a woman. They think maybe, it won't be Nikki Haley. Most people know that. But there's a lot of speculation on different ideas. And Trump's going to keep us waiting. That's going to be he's going to keep that idea secret until the convention, I believe. It's probably not going to come out until the convention. And like he says, it probably doesn't make a lot of difference as far as the way the country's run, because Donald Trump will run the country like a businessman. Probably he'll get the economy moving again. He'll open up the oil reserves. He'll open up the Keystone Pipeline again under executive orders. He will be able to keep those Trump tax cuts down. Joe Biden wants to let them expire and wants to raise the taxes in an election year. He wants to raise the taxes. And this shows why Trump is leading in 5 critical battleground states, according to the New York Times on the front page today. A new set of polls shows as a yearning for change and discontent over the economy and the war in Gaza among young Black and Hispanic voters threaten to unravel the president's Democratic coalition. The surveys by the New York Times, Siena College, and the Philadelphia Inquirer found that President Trump was ahead among registered voters in a head-to-head matchup against Joe Biden in 5 of the key states: Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia, and Pennsylvania. Mr. Biden had a small lead among registered voters in Wisconsin. The race was closer among likely voters. Mr. Trump led in 5 states as well, but Mr. Biden edged. You notice how they don't call them president. They don't even call Joe Biden president. They call him Mr. Biden and Mr. Trump. But this is the New York Times, one of the oldest newspapers in the country, and they're saying right in the front page that the polls find Trump in the lead in the swing states. And then right next to it talks about Michael Cohen, the fixer who once boasted of burying Donald Trump's secrets and spreading his lies, took to the stand at the former president's criminal trial in Manhattan and exposed things to the jury and to the world. Michael Cohen. So Donald Trump, who wants to get out and run for president as a legitimate president, is being held to stay in the courthouse in Manhattan. Maybe for another 2 or 3 weeks. Nobody knows. There's no crime. They haven't come up with any crime yet. They just continue to talk. Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels, a couple of very unscrupulous people for the prosecution. And while the defense on Donald Trump's side, they can't say much because Donald Trump is under a gag order. And in the meantime, people are going out to the steps. Today, Tommy Tuberville and other senators and congressmen are out on the steps supporting Trump, saying what's going on in the courthouse. Vivek saying the dirty, cold courthouse. Maybe play another clip, Ed. And, we can't believe what's going on right now with this election, because this election is only 5 months away, 5.5 months away, and it will be election day in America. And it's going to go by quick. And Donald Trump wants to get as many new voters, as many voters for him to give him to get their votes. You got that clip?
This is a travesty of justice. This is a misuse of the justice system. And look around New York. New York's got plenty of issues. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You have all of NYPD's finest down here because of this travesty going on in that courtroom. Meanwhile, the citizens of New York are less safe, and the district attorney in New York is not prosecuting real crime. He's a Soros-backed DA going after his chief political rival in Donald Trump. America is better than this. And so, unfortunately, it's going to take the American people this November to let their voices be heard on this travesty of justice that's occurring, and making sure that Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States. I've never seen anything like it. This is a joke. It is a farce. It is a travesty. We are better than this as Americans. And unfortunately, the Democrat Party has lost their ever-loving minds. And so it's going to
So that's Byron Daniels. He doesn't hold back. Congressman from down in Naples, from Florida, who supported Trump from the get-go. And he's from Bronx. He's from New York City, so he knows exactly what's going on there. And he's looked at it. He was up there at the courthouse today. He went into court with Trump and kind of observed, and then he got to speak afterwards. These congressmen and senators and friends of Donald Trump are speaking for him. He can't say what he wants to say, what he'd like to say, because the judge has threatened to put him in jail. It's not the $1,000 fine that Trump's thinking of. It's the fact of going to jail. He says he'd go to jail. He'd go to jail in order to support the Constitution for the rights of people, free speech. That's the first article in the Constitution is free speech, but they're not letting them speak. And the gag orders was always for the prosecution, not for the defense. It was never intended for the defense, but they got Donald Trump on a gag order, a man that doesn't deserve this. They want to ruin his reputation. They want to ruin his relationship with his family. They want to just continue to knock him down, this man, this great man that has done nothing but good in this country, at least in the political realm. Everybody's done a few things bad in their lives, but you're spending millions and millions and millions of dollars and all this time to keep Donald Trump in the courthouse. The other cases are falling apart. The one in Miami, the one in Washington, the one in Atlanta, Fannie Willis, they're falling apart. They're kind of pushed off now because the judges have gotten involved, the Supreme Court, and they're going to have a decision in June, which will probably postpone those trials. So those trials will probably never go to trial before the election. So the only real trial that they've got right now left is the one in New York City with Alvin Bragg and Judge Merchan. A couple of people most people never even heard of. Alvin Bragg, the George Soros put into the prosecution, a multimillionaire Alvin Bragg going after Trump with Tisha James. New York City shot. Everybody knows it. You don't want to walk down the street during the day, let alone at night in New York City now. In the streets, stabbings going on, all kinds of problems going on. Illegal immigrants all over the city. Mayor Eric Adams doesn't know what to do. He went over and saw the Pope. I don't know what the Pope told him. They're worried about climate change. Why is he worried about climate change? They have some kind of a theory that these people are moving around the country because of climate change, because there's droughts in different parts of the world and they want to go to there's always been droughts in the world. But it doesn't make any sense. And I think that we're going to have a real exciting election coming up. A lot of people think they're going to cheat. A lot of people think Trump needs to win by 10 points. so that the Democrats can't cheat, but I hope he does. And the polls offer little indication that any of the developments that helped Mr. Biden hurt Mr. Trump. It quelled in the electorate's discontent, the New York Times says. Instead, the surveys show that the high cost of living, immigration, Israel's war in Gaza, and the desire for change continue to be a drag on President Biden's standing. High cost of living. Does anybody realize that when Donald Trump was the president, costs were lower? Does anybody remember? They were lower. There was no question about things being lower. Then COVID came along. And it hurt the American economy pretty bad, so they threw money out into the people's pockets. And then Joe Biden, when he became president, continued it. And he had the Inflation Reduction Act he came out with that sent out almost $2 billion into the economy. So there's all this money going out, and there's only so many supplies. And that's what happens. That's what makes things go up. Supply and demand, the supply and demand. And also he declared war on the energy companies and decided to favor the climate change experts, as they say, even to a tune of trying to make Americans buy electric cars, which Americans cannot buy. And in that Inflation Reduction Act, he sent out billions and billions of dollars to build chargers all over this country, battery charging systems for the electric cars that are not selling right now. The waste. And then Afghanistan. Joe Biden decided to pull out of Afghanistan. And we lost 13 brave soldiers. And a lot of other people got killed. Afghanistan fell to the Taliban. $90 billion worth of military equipment was left there in Afghanistan. And the Taliban took it over. The Taliban took it over and took over that country. Joe Biden's flopped withdrawal of Afghanistan showed Vladimir Putin that America is a little bit fragile right now under Joe Biden, a little weak under Joe Biden. And then a couple of years ago, old Vladimir decided to go into Ukraine. He figured he'd make his move because he knew that we had a weak president in Joe Biden. And we sent money to Ukraine. And we've been sending money to Ukraine ever since. Zelensky, you got to give him some kind of credit, I guess. In the beginning, I think he had a good, maybe a good heart. But I think the money went to his head. I think all the money went to his head, and they're not going to win that war, I don't believe. But nobody's talking about peace. Nobody's talking about coming to the table and having a peace treaty in Ukraine. We just continue to send them money. Money brings up the inflation, immigration. Another thing that the New York Times says that the voters are discontent with, immigration. When you look at the border and you look at all these people coming across the border and you just wonder, where are they going? Getting on airplanes, going to the cities. And you see a lot of them in the cities. But where do the other ones go? Millions of people. Somebody's supporting them. So the government sends out cards to pay for their food, to pay for their cell phone, to pay for their health care. And the American people suffer. The American people deserve better. They deserve a president that would shut the border. They deserve a president that would sit down between Ukraine and Russia and settle that war. The Middle East, the president was given citations because he was the president of peace. Donald Trump, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden, Israel's war in Gaza, as Today, he said that he doesn't want to give them any more munitions. He wants them to stop. He wants them to cease fire, the Israelis, the Israeli army. He wants them to stop. And they're not going to. He's abandoned of Israel. Yet in Ukraine, he just keeps the war going. When has anybody ever heard Joe Biden talk about the war in Russia and Ukraine stopping? It's been a while. If it's ever happened, it probably never has happened. But Mr. Biden benefited from a burst of momentum in the wake of the State of the Union address in March. He did. Who did? He benefited from what? The State of the Union. The State of the Union, where he continues to divide American people. And so people that want to fight back, people that want to challenge him, people that want to go against what he says, he puts them in jail, like Peter Navarro, his DOJ. They want to put Steve Bannon, one of the men that was in the Trump team, has a huge podcast, talks every day on the podcast, and they want to put him in jail. But you don't see any Democrats going to jail. You don't see any Democrats getting put in jail like Hunter Biden or Hillary. You don't see that. But the Trump people, I guess it's to send out fear, to make you scared to speak out. But you got to speak out. And the Biden supporters, they're not going to call this show. I know they aren't. This is the show the liberals hate, but they listen to sometimes, some of the liberals. They don't want a show like this on the radio because all I'm doing is talking about Donald Trump. I want to see Donald Trump elected president again. And that's my whole message. What message does a liberal have? They want to see Joe Biden get reelected? Reelected to do what? To destroy the country like he's done? Climate change? Sold out to Iran? Give Iran whatever they want? Iran will end up getting a nuclear bomb if Joe Biden continues to be president from 2024 to 2028. The border will continue to stay wide open. $35 trillion in debt. One more trillion every 10 months, maybe 9 months. One more trillion in debt. Joe Biden has no idea on how to make money in America. All he knows about is how to spend money. And then on the other hand, the man that 100,000 people went to the rally the other day in New Jersey, Donald Trump, he has ideas to get America back on track because he sees that the American people are people that love to be excellent in the world. Good people, working people. Did you see him at the rally? Most people didn't even see it because it wasn't even on TV because they want to suppress the story. And that's a shame because Americans want to see what's going on. And I believe there's more people involved in politics right now, maybe than there ever was. But the Americans need to vote. The people need to vote this November. And I'm voting for Donald Trump, and I hope you are. And I think that there's going to be a lot of changes in January if Donald Trump does get reelected. Change is going to come either way. Change. If Joe Biden stays in office, the country's going to be transformed more like Obama wanted. He wanted to transform America the way you live. So that change is going to only become more so, and you're going to notice it more so. There's going to be more inflation. Gasoline prices will continue to go up. They're lower now. They go up and down 30 cents one day, 40 cents the next day, then back down because it's an election year. Most people know that. Most people know that right after Biden got elected, the gas jumped 30, 40, 50 cents a gallon within the first 6 months that he was in office. Most people know that gasoline was right around $2 a gallon when Donald Trump was president. Some places lower, some places $1.79, $1.59. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Most people knew that, they could go buy a loaf of bread for whatever, a lot less than they do today. Everything's so expensive today in the groceries. When you're waiting in line, people are talking about it. People are looking at the total on the cash register. putting their credit card in, working and living off credit cards. Many people trying to get 2 or 3 jobs. But how are you going to get a job if the immigrants are going to take over all the jobs, the illegals? I don't know. But maybe let's play another clip, and we'll keep it going. If you want to call us, 727-441-3000. 727-441-3000. Give us a call if you want to talk about politics tonight.
Appointed in the courtroom, I'm hearing Mr. Trump, he is former President Trump. Give him some respect. I mean, that's what that place is in there. It's no respect. Here's what I'm seeing, too. It is depressing. That courtroom is depressing. This is New York City, the icon of our country. And we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the President of the United States this year. That's all this is. He's been here a month. First of all, I'm disappointed in the courtroom. I'm hearing Mr. Trump, he is former President Trump.
Tommy Tuberville, one of the greatest coaches in the history of college football. Head football coach of University of Mississippi, Texas Tech, and the University of Cincinnati. Tom Tuberville, you heard him. You heard what he said. This is the voice of a man that loves America. And he sees what they're doing to Donald Trump. They're trying to break his will. They're trying to break his mental ability to be able to even think. They're trying to take him down in a dirty, cold, rotten place in New York City, which they call a courthouse. They want to put him in Rikers Island. They want to put him in prison for the rest of his life. This is what they want to do, Donald Trump. This is why so many people now are going there and starting to speak about the trial. Okay, hello.
Many millions that we just stay quiet because we're just waiting for the time to go and vote.
Hello. Ron? Hello. Maybe we had a caller, but I guess they might be calling back. But, we got a lot of problems. This trial is a mockery of the presidency. This trial could open up cases down the road for all kinds of different people that are going to be trying to talk. We got a call, Ed? Okay, go ahead. Hello.
Yeah, I'm one of the many millions that I know that a lot of people don't feel that that we're heard or anything, but we exist. We believe that a lot of people don't feel that that we're heard or anything, but we exist. We believe. And the president, we were paying $1.79 a gallon. We weren't paying almost $4 a gallon. We were paying for everything so much less. And he just, like you said, he just keeps feeding Ukraine, but he's going against our allies, which are the Irish, which are the Jewish people. I don't understand how they can control the media and not let the president be seen on TV. We're supposed to have the both parties be able to see what both parties are doing, but in this cabinet, they shield everything wrong that Biden's son did, they do, and they just say everything bad about the ex-president when he did so much good when he was president. I just can't see the people being blind because we're smart Americans to what's going on. We just can't say anything, and we're being quiet until November because if we say something, they're just going to lock it out of the media. They're just not gonna accept it. So we just have to stay quiet. We like 1 million, and I expect to see you guys vote because I'm going to be voting.
Ron, you just said it all. You said it all. You said we're not going to say anything, but you just said it all. Everything you said is true. Everything you said is true. America is worth saying your voice. You have a right to speak, and you're on the radio right now, and you just talked to people about what you feel. And I couldn't have said it any better. But are you involved in politics? Any of the politics yourself?
No, I'm just a normal person like everyone else. We just want to get our voting, and it's very scary right now because of the way they're making everything go up in price and everything. And it's scary because it's not the way it used to be, where you can buy stuff and you can survive, and you don't have to worry about don't know what's going to happen next. Are we going to go to war? Everywhere we turn, there's a war going on. But Donald Trump was president, we didn't have that because he knows how to speak to people. This guy, for some reason, he doesn't know how to speak to them. He's I don't know. He's more into the money because we keep getting more into debt, and we don't. I mean, we had China paying us money back. I don't think China's not paying us any more money back, and they own part of the United States. A lot of people might not know this, but China was sold, I think, 180,000 acres of land. You know, so in the United States, they own it. I mean, do we own any land in China?
Well, I don't think you can buy land in China, and I don't think you'd want it in China.
And they shouldn't be able to do it here.
No, they shouldn't. I agree with you that way, too. China wants to take over Taiwan, and then they would like to continue on. But you're a great American, and you have a great voice, and don't be afraid to share your voice, and don't let them push you around on the freedom speech. The communists love to do that. The socialists love to do that. This is how it stops. You divide people, and then you shut them down with their voices. And you're right now on the phone talking to a radio show, and get engaged in politics, because it's going to be a really, really busy year this year. There's going to be, you don't know what the Democrats are going to do. I think it's good versus evil myself. I think there's a lot of evil people on the other side.
Yeah, we all need to pray because he's
So say a prayer. God bless you, and thanks for calling, Ron. All right. Call again. And, there's a guy that loves America. That's all I can say. I can't get any Biden people to call me. Biden people aren't going to call. Liberals are going to listen, but they're not going to call a show like this. What are they going to say? How are they going to defend the guy, the old coot? That's what he is. He's the worst president that has ever been in America. He's going after a man that wants to run against him. Who does this? Who does this? Puts the ex-president, Donald J. Trump, in a courthouse to destroy him so that they can destroy you and me and everybody else that is in America. Joe Biden, the coward. He's a coward. Did anybody remember the documents in his garage behind his Corvette? Does anybody remember that the FBI planted those papers on top of the documents in Mar-a-Lago? Does anybody know why the FBI and the DOJ and the CIA are all in cahoots with Biden? Not all of them, but many of them. Does anybody realize that we're in $35 trillion in debt? We don't have any money left. We don't have any money. America's broke. And they're trying to destroy Donald Trump. They're trying to destroy Donald Trump. Let that sink in. Alvin Bragg, Judge Merchan, born in Colombia. Born in Colombia. Oh, youngest of 6. Mr. Trump. He's getting his day in court right now, the judge. But I'll guarantee it, that there will be a day when Donald Trump will stand, hopefully, in the White House and will set it up again. The Great Reset. People talk about the Great Reset. The Great Reset is Donald Trump, when he wins, resetting this economy with a trillion and trillion and trillion of barrels of oil and energy in America and selling it to other countries. China. They were sending billions and billions and billions of dollars in trade tariffs to Trump's tariff laws. The farmers in Iowa, they were given $250 billion to help them. While the border stays open, and it just doesn't make any sense. Why is the border open? Why is the border open, Biden fans? Why? Why do you like that? You like people coming all over the country in buses and planes? I remember DeSantis, one of the great things he did was when he flew some to Martha's Vineyard. And what'd they do? No, they threw him off the island. Threw him on some Air Force base, I think. Took him off. They didn't want them there. They don't want them in their backyard, these people. But these are people. You can't knock them. They're people. They shouldn't be coming. But maybe if I lived in another country, I'd come too. Just like the people that walked into the Capitol. They went in. Shouldn't have went in. But there was a crowd of people going in, and they were just following the crowd. That's what the migrants are doing. They're following the crowd. America's open. There's no border. Go on up. I don't know if you'll like it. If you don't like it, you can always come back. Maybe. Mexico, they used to help Donald Trump shut down the border. He started building the wall, that beautiful wall. He said he wanted to have a beautiful gate that would open and close. Biden shut that down. Mexico quit patrolling the border like they were when Trump was president. Why? Can you figure it out? Why? Why did Joe Biden open up the border? I don't know the answer. Do you? Does anybody? Why did Dr. Fauci lie to so many people during COVID? Why? Why? Supposedly he was in on it. Wuhan in China. Supposedly. That's what you're hearing now. Why was the vaccine mandated? Where people didn't want to get it? Got fired if you didn't get it. Kicked out of the service or wherever you did. They ostracized you. You were no good. You couldn't go on a plane. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. Why? And why is Joe Biden the president of the United States right now? Do you think he got 80 million votes? I don't think so. But I wasn't counting the votes, but I think that Donald Trump's campaign, it's off to a pretty good start for the beginning of summer. 100,000 people just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. And they were there for probably till the sun came up the next day, hanging out on the beach, listening to Donald Trump talk. Do you think Joe Biden could get 100,000 people at a rally? You think Joe Biden could get 500 people at a rally? Probably not. Electric cars. What's with the electric cars all of a sudden? Who's going to be able to afford to drive an electric car around America? I was over at the mall last week in Tampa, the International Mall. They had a car, an Audi. It was $170,000. I think it was a hybrid, not an American car. Ford Motor Company. The great Ford Motor Company, the greatest car company in the world ever, losing $100,000 per electric car. But the government will probably give them subsidies and bail them out to get votes. You know, they'll bail them out. And I see Robert and Bobby on deck. Nostalgic Radio and Cars is coming up next at 7. I don't know what his attitude is about the country right now, but I know a lot of people are wondering what happened with the bus, the 55 people in a bus going to Dade to pick watermelons. 10 of them were killed. I'm sure they didn't have any seatbelts on. I doubt. Maybe they did. I don't know. How you get that many people in a bus? Must have been a big bus. 50 people. 53 people killed going to pick watermelons. Mayor Adams. Yeah, let's play Mayor Adams. This is the mayor of New York City.
That states those jobs that we are in high demand, we could expedite. How do we have a large body of people that are in our city and country that are excellent swimmers, and at the same time, we need lifeguards? And the only obstacle is that we won't give them the right to work to become a lifeguard. That just doesn't make sense. But if we had a plan that say you have a shortage of food service workers and those who fit the criteria, we're going to expedite you. If you have the experience that you are a nurse, which you have a nursing shortage, and we would expedite you. And that's the same with lifeguards. So we have all these eligible people waiting to work with the skills we need to fill the jobs, but we're unable to allow them. That states those jobs that we are in high demand.
Well, what do you think of that, Ed? Ed, I want your comment.
I would stand up and give him an analogy to his analogy. I would say, Mayor Adams, I was just wondering, with your skills and your skin color, why you're not frying chicken somewhere and being the mayor of New York. Isn't that the same thing? Because of their skills? What? Because of the color of their skin?
Maybe.
They don't get sunburned? Neither do you. I don't see you as a lifeguard.
I think he thinks they're good swimmers, but I don't know if I'd want them lifeguard my children, my 10-year-old.
That is one of the most racist. If a white man said that, they would be going. The View would ask for another hour on TV.
Yeah, well, that's the diversity today, and that's the mayor went to see the Pope. He went to see the white Pope over there in the Vatican, and the Pope is talking about climate change. The Pope, of all people, to come up with climate change is the biggest lie, and it come right out of the Pope's office over in the Vatican.
But even Forrest Gump said it best: "Stupid is as stupid does." I mean, if I was in the media, I'm sorry, I would have stood up and said, why would you just say that? Isn't that, what was that one girl in The View that said we need somebody to clean our toilets? And they got all upset about that.
Probably Rosie O'Donnell, maybe. I don't know. She's not there anymore, but I don't watch The View. But I know The View is another social. And, their whole idea is destroy America. That's all it amounts to. They have entertainment, but the entertainment is anti-America. And anybody that is pro-America, they want to censor you. They don't want you to talk. That's why when somebody goes on to The View, I've seen a few of their clips on Twitter, they overshadow them. They overshadow anybody that might support Trump or whatever. But if you say something good kissy talk about Biden, they love you, And now a lot of people are speaking out. A lot of people are starting to say that they're going to vote Republican.
Well, if you go on The View, there's parameters that they set up.
They have her. And
I saw one clip of Whoopi Goldberg got all stink-eyed. She stood up and somebody was filming it on the camera. I guess that's not allowed. I wonder why. I don't know. I wonder why you're not allowed to film it. Why? They don't want you to see what happens behind the scenes?
Probably not. Why would you want to see? They're hard to even. Sometimes The View is an older show, but Barbara Walters, she's not on it. When she was on it, it wasn't bad, but it's gotten so far off the edge. And, here's Fox News right now. They won't show one of Trump's rallies, but all they talk about is the trial. They'll show his pictures and but why not show his rallies? If you have 100,000 people, why not show it? Maybe they did this week. I'm not sure, but they, their norm, they're not showing his rallies, And but I feel Trump is going to endure this and go through this, and it's just hard. I think it's very hard on any man,
Of those people at the rallies, that 100,000, how many did you see wearing masks?
I don't know, probably none. But if you
none.
No, I saw.
None. They were all wearing MAGA hats, which makes them MAGA freaks, I guess.
I saw them afterwards.
No cars were flipped over. No burning.
That's what I was going to say.
Tents.
Everything was no garbage, no trash. No problems. No problems. And that's why I'm convinced January 6th was a setup too. That was rigged, and that they wanted that to happen. Ashley Babbitt got killed, and they never even acknowledged it. They talk about these officers that Liz Cheney and the likes of her that were just out to destroy Donald Trump and the Republican Party. The Republican Party is under attack. It's not just Donald Trump, because a lot of Republicans are not good Republicans. They're rhinos, they're in the party, but they're really not rhinos. They're Republicans in name only. And that's the trouble today. The trouble is the Yeah, the polls are still. I'm still looking at this New York Times. The full page. Polls say Trump leads in 5 key states as Biden loses young voters. That's the headlines of the New York Times. New York Times. Young voters flocking to Trump. Youngsters like Bobby, flocking to Trump. They want to see Trump take over the White House again because they're worried. They're all worried. And I can't blame them. You got to be worried when you see so many things happening in America right now. And you got a president that just continues to keep us in a war, a couple wars. And he's the one that's in charge to send people, the young people, into battle if something happens, in America. He won't defend the border, but he'll send money to Ukraine to defend Ukraine's border. And that's the trouble today, You think about Michael Cohen, and he took the stand today, and he says the star witness. He's a star witness against his former boss, Donald Trump. Donald Trump has had tens of thousands of people working for him, and it's amazing that they go after him like they do. But this is what we're about. Tuesday nights, we're on 6 to 7. We got the Only in America minutes on at 8 and noon. One little minute of whatever. One little minute of refreshment about the election. And I got the timing. We're going to go out with that Only in America show. I'm sure that we're going to cue it up, and we're going to go out to the other side of the hour. Been here for the whole hour, and I got the Only in America song. And if you listen to the words of this song, just listen to them and turn it up, Bobby. Great song. One of the great songs in America ever written. Just listen to it.
To be president, only in America, land of opportunity, yeah. Put a classy girl like you fall.
What are you talking about tonight, Bobby?
Oh, we're gonna have Wayne Carini on today.
Okay, good. Nice seeing you again.
Anniversary.
Nice seeing you again, and Robert, and thank you, Ed. God bless this great country, and pray for Donald Trump. Keep your family safe, and remember, you are in the greatest country in the world.
Only in America can a guy from anywhere go to sleep a pauper and wake up a millionaire. Only in America can a kid without a cent get a break and maybe grow up to be president. Only in America, land of opportunity, yeah. Put a classy girl like you fall for a poor boy like me. Only in America, and a kid who's washing cars take a giant step and reach right up and
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
Listen.
Arrest in deadly Florida farm worker bus crash.
We have 8 confirmed fatalities.
At former President Trump's criminal trial.
Key testimony from Cohen.
NTSB report finds cargo ship that brought down a Baltimore bridge
suffered a series of electrical failures.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The driver of a pickup truck that slammed into a farm worker bus near Ocala, Florida today, killing 8 people and injuring dozens of others, is arrested and charged with DUI manslaughter. Florida Highway Patrol Lieutenant Pat Reardon.
That vehicle, for unknown reasons, traveled toward the center line, and the vehicles had a collision of a side swipe type manner.
The bus crashed through a fence and into a tree before overturning. At former President Donald Trump's Manhattan criminal trial, ex-Trump attorney Michael Cohen takes the stand again. CBS's Errol Barnett says the prosecution focused on checks.
Prosecutors methodically walked through each and every one. We're talking about 11 checks, 11 invoices, and 12 so-called vouchers or ledgers from the Trump side, which confirm that payments were made to Cohen in 2017, each in the amount of $35,000, which went beyond the $130,000 he says he paid to Stormy Daniels as part of that hush money deal.
The defense grilled Cohen about his motivations, credibility, and his admitted track record of lying about his dealings with Trump. As for former President Trump, he arrived at the courthouse today with several prominent Republicans in tow, including U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
These are politically motivated trials, and they are a disgrace. It is election interference.
CBS's Nicole Skanga has the latest on a preliminary report by the NTSB on the deadly Baltimore bridge collapse.
The container ship Dolly that crashed into Baltimore's Key Bridge in March suffered a series of electrical failures just minutes before the collision, plus 2 blackouts a day earlier. The 24-page report details 2 power outages, stopping the ship's propeller and rudder as it approached the bridge.
The Justice Department says Boeing breached its obligations in a 2021 agreement that shielded the plane maker from criminal prosecution over fatal 737 MAX crashes in 2018 and 2019, and is subject to prosecution, but the government is determining how it will proceed. A UN staff member is killed and another injured in Gaza. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb says this is the first international UN aid worker to be killed in war.
What we understand is that he was on his way to one of the hospitals in southern Gaza when his convoy came under attack. We understand that it was an Indian national who was killed.
On Wall Street, the stocks rose. Now this.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you ever think about hosting your very own radio show? Here's how.
Hey, Tampa Bay, did you know you can have a 1-hour program on the Tan Talk Radio Network for less